Hi guys, Steve here. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of the ACX Masters, and I'm going to talk about what you're going to get from it, and we're going to have a quick sort of sequence where I'll show you some of the things that we're going to go through. So what this ACX Masters is all about is about uncovering CX and process opportunities in hours rather than days and weeks. It's about being able to identify actions to improve significantly the customer experience. And fairly typically, people will get 15 to 20% improvements against those major measures of success, whether that's service, cost, revenue, plus whatever is your focus. Say it's compliance as well. It's about tightening controls, interestingly enough, as we improve customer experiences dramatically. It's also got the ability to integrate with other approaches. So this isn't about CX wins all. This is about taking the best of other approaches like BPM, Six Sigma, Lean, and Agile where necessary. So where you've got skill sets in the organization that are already established, then what you're going to be able to do is to be able to bring those people into that sort of CX domain to get a better understanding about how all this stuff links together. And it's about ultimately aligning everything we do. It's about that North Star alignment. It's about if everything in the organization, the people and the systems can look in the right direction and continually be aware of that, then things can't go too far wrong. We don't get sort of departments declaring UDI and doing their own thing. Also, there's this over idea of improving customer satisfaction, and not just from an NPS or a CSAT score thing, but how do we build in a system, an ecosystem, which continually improves all facets of customer satisfaction. And I mean, the other big benefit as well, of course, is going to be for the top team, the Exco, is the winning of the Triple Crown. And what do I mean by that? That's that ability to simultaneously reduce costs, grow revenues, and enhance service. And that's the true measure of CX being done in a more scientific way. So I hope you'll come and join me. I'm just going to walk you through a few of the components, what you'll be moving through, some of the how you're going to get the type of things. So come and join me on the inside in a moment or two. Cheers. Thank you. Hi guys, Steve again. So what I'm going to do now is do a quick walkthrough of the ACX Masters, some of the content, some of the themes, the sort of things that you're going to be exposed to, the new tools and techniques that are in there. So let's share my screen. Flip over to the outline. Okay, and there we are. Right, that's the outline. So I'm going to walk you through 10 minutes or so. So what is all this about? Well, the ACX Masters is the sort of second stage in terms of CX advanced professionalism, if you want to put it like that. And within the 4 days sessions, which each will last 5 hours, we cover off the professional themes, which is the first 2 days. And then we move into the Masters team, which represents the full 4-day Monty. Subsequently, people do sign up for the champions, where we discuss strategy, leadership and execution from a CX enterprise-wide perspective, and then in turn people become CX mentors, so that what they can do is they can upskill their own organizations to be able to do this stuff. So that's a bit of where this ACX Masters fits in. But if I distilled it down, and I've often talked to boards of directors about this, they say, what's the difference between, you know, the industrial age thinking and CX thinking? Well, CX done properly, you know, tends to really deliver results, particularly around Triple Crown, cost, revenue and service simultaneously. But if we start with the bottom left-hand diagram, what we can see is traditionally we started off by defining products and services, then we go to the market, we're trying to find people, customers and buyers, and in fact we might find ourselves pitching at the whole world, and that results in complexity and a big bad mess. The reality is our organization structures and systems were never designed to deal with the third decade of the 21st century and changing customer needs, promiscuity, the lack of loyalty, the need for choice, all these different things. Those organization structures were never designed to cope with. So what we've ended up doing is putting onto those traditional organization structures additional layers. Okay, and that makes things more complex. It makes the whole thing messy. It makes doing simple things seem to take such a long time. On the right-hand side, you've got the view that you'll have certainly through the program, and by the end of the program, you will be talking this language. We start off by defining very clearly what our customers are and what are their needs. We then only then move on to designing services and products which actually deliver those needs. So the difference between the two is one on the left is inside out. It's looking within the silos and the functions. The other is outside in. It's looking at the world through the customer lens. It's actually focusing on success from that point of view. So when we sort of think about the migration from one to the other, it's about understanding the different types of customer, establishing structures that allow us to categorize and prioritize them. So here you've got a sort of an overview of the main steps we're going to go through. So we identify customers. We then categorize them, as you can see. We then prioritize them, and we prioritize them against a number of different factors. We then go through the steps and stages of identifying customers' real needs. So you can see in and around that, there's a whole bunch of tools and acronyms and stuff. Then we'll talk about CX maturity. Where are we now? Where do we aspire to get to? And how do we cover that gap? We'll be doing that. And then we'll look at the various approaches you can use to actually take an existing experience / process. As we know, Steve Jobs said, the customer experience is the process. We'll look at the different ways we could engineer those experiences to somewhere different. My favorite is innovate, really dramatic. It can take sort of 40 interactions down to 5 or 6 very quickly. And I'm talking a matter of hours here. This isn't days and weeks and months. So you can implement a transformation and at the end of week 1, have an actionable plan where 50% of the actions are implementable within the following month. And they'll all check that box called Triple Crown. They will simultaneously lower costs, improve service, and grow revenues. So that's the very essence of it. And the stages that we move through in terms of understanding these things are about connecting the dots for our organization. So we have tools in there like the outsidein strategic matrix, the successful customer outcome canvas. And one area where we really do connect the dots is through something called the customer performance landscape. That literally connects every task and activity, every chunk of digital capability in the organization, right the way through to a successful customer outcome. All right. So when people talk about connecting the dots, that's really what that is. Then subsequently, having done the transformation of the experience, what we then need to do is put it into steady state, and we need to create the dashboards around it so that the top team and the people who are actually doing the work have complete transparency for where work is taking place and how it's connected. And it's all about achieving this North Star alignment, getting to that place where everybody can understand where North Star is and everything we're doing is contributing to achieving it. So we can become like an Amazon or a Zappos or a Zara or an Emirates or an Apple, if you want to think about Apple as it was 6 or 7 years ago. So there we go. That's a very quick summary of the ACX Masters. It's 4 days, 5 hours per day, a bunch of exercises which will let me understand that you understand the process that you're going through. There's no formal test. You know, I don't know about you, but I think tests are just questions of recall. What we want to do is make sure that you really understand the material, you really get it. And so from that perspective, I'll be hand-holding you all the way through. We have a bunch of videos, a ton of tools and techniques that you can use. And the really cool thing, as I said a little bit earlier on, is you can integrate all this stuff with some of the existing philosophies around the organization. So whether that's business process management, whether it's lean, whether it's Six Sigma, whether it's agile approaches or total operating model approaches, enterprise architecture approaches, this stuff integrates really well, can integrate that stuff really well. So I do hope you can get yourself along to the ACX Masters. Sign up, there's a link here somewhere around about me, and I'll see you on the inside. Look forward to it. Thanks. Bye-bye.